Hi, everyone. Hi, thanks so much for joining. Today, we're going to talk about how to turn that hobby into a full-time business. And if you don't know me, I'm Caroline Castrillon. I'm the founder of Corporate Escape Artists, and I'm a business and life coach that helps people escape their corporate lives so that they can find fulfillment working for themselves. So maybe you're spending more and more time on your hobby and less time thinking about work, or you've got people around you saying, wow, you're really great at this. You should really turn it into a business. Well, turning your hobby into a business could be one of the best things that you ever do, because having passion for your work is going to take you really far when it comes time to being your own boss. The first and most important question, though, that you need to ask yourself is, are you going to still love your hobby when you start introducing revenue generation and deadlines into the mix? So think long and hard about that. If the answer is yes, then I'm going to give you some steps that you can follow today to turn that hobby into a viable full-time business. So the first thing is to really understand your why. In one of my previous blogs, I talked about how important it is to know yourself. And once you understand your why, it's really going to make it easier for you to stay committed, and it will also help you to convince others that this is a worthwhile investment. So ask yourself questions like, why do I want to turn my hobby into a business? Is it because I love it and I want to share it with the world? Am I looking to build a legacy that I can be proud of? Am I looking for personal fulfillment or a creative outlet? Whatever it may be, once you understand your why, you're really going to be able to tap into that passion that's going to be able to inspire others and help you to take that hobby to full-time business. The next step is really to brainstorm ways that you can monetize your hobby. And there's probably thousands of different ways that you could do this. I'm going to give you just a few ideas to help you brainstorm. The first one is turn it into a teaching scenario. So let's say you love scuba diving. You can open a scuba shop that offers diving instruction, but not only that, it also offers products and accessories. You can even franchise a model like that. Another idea is to sell, import, or actually create a product around your hobby. So let's say you're a hobby dog breeder. You could actually create t-shirts for dog lovers as an idea. You can also speak or write about your blog. So let's say you love knitting. You can create a knitting blog that you can monetize. And if you don't think that knitting can be monetized, I actually included a link in my blog on corporateescapeartist.com to an article that lists the top 100 knitting blogs to follow in 2018. So check that out. Another idea is to actually combine your business experience with your hobby, again, in a teaching or consultative scenario. So let's say you're a marketing expert. Maybe you also love photography. You could teach marketing to photographers. You can consult with them on their marketing strategies. And then finally, the last idea is to create a tour company. So let's say you enjoy yoga and travel. You can create a meditation and wellness tour company. So those are just some ideas to kind of get the creative juices flowing. Once you get an idea that you're comfortable with, the next step is to create a side business. See if this is a viable business option for you. And there are so many examples of successful companies that went from hobby to full-time business. I was actually surprised myself, and I'm going to give you some examples today. There's also less well-known examples out there. So don't think that these are just unicorns. These are out of the ordinary. There are lots and lots of companies out there that have turned hobby to full-time business successfully. The first one, though, I'm going to talk about is a company called Ranger Up. This was a U.S. Army vet who was getting his MBA at Duke and just started creating t-shirts for his students as a hobby. And then all of a sudden it exploded. Even after he graduated, got a job, I think it was with John Deere, and he had to leave his job because this business just continued to explode. So 13 years later, he turned it into a $20 million apparel and media company, very successful. And he even made a movie recently. Another example is Christine Watanabe. She's a tennis enthusiast. She was playing tennis like 5 days a week, and she just couldn't find that scorekeeper that worked for her. So like many entrepreneurs, she created her own product, her own scorekeeper. And now that product and company called Score at Hand is selling its products online and in stores. Debbie Fields, who can forget Mrs. Fields cookies? She started it as a hobby in her kitchen, and ultimately that became a $450 million business. Then there's a little company called Craigslist, which you've probably heard of. Craig Newmark developed Craigslist because he moved to San Francisco for a job with Charles Schwab. He ended up getting laid off, got a severance package, and used that to develop a little message board that coincided with the advent of Netscape. And then there Craigslist was born. And then finally, probably one of the more well-known examples, Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg created that as a side gig, as a side hobby. And then obviously that's been developed into a multi-billion-dollar global business. So those are just some examples, but again, there's a lot of lesser known examples that I'll include in my blog on corporateescapeartist.com. And then the next step is to really develop a business plan, or what I like to call an escape plan. So I included a link to a wonderful article that offers a step-by-step on how to create a business plan. That's also in my blog on corporateescapeartist.com. So I encourage you to check that out. But this is a point at which you really want to start thinking about your target market, your financial projections. At what point can you actually flip the switch from 9 to 5 to full-time business? How much money are you going to need to keep in reserve? What does my competitive positioning look like? You're going to need to consider your positioning overall, your pricing strategy, your long-term goals. And this is also the point at which you want to talk to mentors and advisors to get their input. And then your marketing plan is going to need to be developed. And finally, you're going to have to develop an implementation plan. So to keep yourself accountable, create an implementation plan with very specific timelines and milestones. And that will take you to the last step, which, as you can guess, is just go for it, just jump. No matter how much planning or preparation you do, you're going to feel fear. You're going to feel some uncertainty. And that's normal. Just don't let it interfere with you moving forward. So my advice is to remind yourself to test and optimize, be flexible so that you can adjust your strategy along the way, and just go for it. Don't look back. And finally, just congratulate yourself on being the CEO of your own life. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed this topic. If you have other topics that you'd like to hear about, please include them in the comments. If you're watching this live, please give me some thumbs up, or let me know that this resonated with you. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay, I'm on Facebook Live every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central. So I'd love to see you there. If not, I do post these on my blog at corporateescapeartist.com, so you can watch them with additional information and links. And so until next time, thank you so much for joining, everyone.